What's the overall feeling on Hard Knocks, and are there players that are for it? Are there players against it? Are there coaching staff that What's the overall?
Right now the guys are excited. HBO is coming to camp. I think it's going to make camp a little lighter and maybe a little more fun. Because training camp is not real fun.
Yeah, it's 2 a days.
But,
oh man.
But I've been a part of Hard Knocks before, and I think the first couple of days people are looking at the cameras and they're noticing all the reporters and the TV people. But after a couple of days, things get real normal, and you start to see the real football team and the real coaching. So you just forget those guys are there, and I think it's great for the fans. They get a chance to see what we do on a day-to-day basis and get a chance to see those players up close and personal, and the players that they don't know that well, they get a chance to to see them too. So I think it's great for the fans. It make you feel like you're right in the meeting room with us, you're right on the field with us. And Hard Knocks, they do an outstanding job with their show. Outstanding. Yeah. So I think it'll be fun and it'll be good for the fans. It's going to be a win-win.
Wow. Were you part of it with Dallas, right?
I was part of it with Jacksonville.
With Jacksonville, okay. That's when you were running backs coach with the Jags. Okay, right. Wow. And I wanted to ask you about Rex Ryan, because when he said that 50-1, what? With 51 underdogs, we should be the favorites. Like, I love that, because that's you have to believe that's why you're in the playoffs, to win the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. And also, he had a legitimate point. And of course, it showed with the AFC Championship run. So talk about how Rex Ryan, the power of visualization and the power of affirmation, how that really resonates with the team.
Well, Rex, he wants to do one thing, that's win a championship. He don't care about winning football games. He don't care about coming in second. He wants to win a championship. And that's the goal he gave us from day one. And I have so much respect for him, because things didn't go our way early in the middle of the season. At one time, we were 4-6. And I got to tell you, that man did not flinch. His philosophy stayed the same. He preached the same message to the coaches and to the team all year long. And he almost got us to that Super Bowl. But that's just, Rex believed in winning championships, and he don't care much about winning games. So when he said we should be the favorites, he meant it. He meant it. And I think that attitude is contagious. Our players like that. Our players feed off of that. Coaches like it.
That's right. Wow, and that's what it's all about. That's leadership right there, for sure. And now, do you have aspirations of being a head coach?
Well, sure I do. I've always wanted to be a coach and do it on the highest level. So, all I can do now is work on being the best running back coach that I can be, and hopefully, somebody might pay attention to that one day and give me a shot. But I love to be head coach one day.
Because what you've done for Jacksonville, what you did for Fred Taylor's career, like he had 2 of the top 4 rushing seasons in the history of Jacksonville Jaguars franchise. Then what you did for Marion Barber, he emerged under your tutelage, and then in Cleveland, Jamal Lewis had consistency. So you've done a lot of great things where, definitely, I think that should be in the future.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I've had some great players, and all those guys were great to work with. But I'm not saying that you have to play the game to be a great coach, but I played the game, and I kind of understand what they're going through at times. Yes. And I think sometimes being able to relate to them and communicate with them is more important than what you know.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And speaking of your playing career, you were part of the Denver Broncos back-to-back Super Bowl titles, and and now that team is just filled with great players and veteran players that that were doing it for a long time and finally were able to reach that mountaintop together. Yeah. So talk about what any things that you learned specifically from any of those guys that really resonated with you throughout.
Those were two great teams. And matter of fact, we had a 6-year run. I think may have been the best in NFL history. But you say great players, but what a lot of people don't realize is out of those 22 starters, 16 or 17 was drafted after the 6th round or free agent.
Yeah, that's deep.
Right. So you're talking about a group of hard-working men coming together, blue-collar guys, all trusting one another, going to bat for one another, and believing in one another, and winning football games. We had a great quarterback, but there were a lot of blue-collar guys on that team, and a lot of close teammates to this day.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And Terrell Davis, Hall of Famer, you think?
Absolutely. I believe in a 7-year period, he did just as much as Gale Sayers, to get into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, rushed for 2,000 yards in 1 year. Could not have won those Super Bowls without Terrell Davis. And so, yes, I do believe he's Hall of Fame. Wow. No question.
Absolutely. Wow. And I wanted to ask you a question. It was very interesting. You went to Texas Tech.
Yeah,
And definitely now back in those days, like now Texas Tech is a passing offense. How was the offensive system back then? Was it more Russian, like
completely opposite?
Completely right.
Completely
Okay,
opposite.
Okay.
And I think it was harder back then. We were competitive back then, but there were 7 years straight we put it back in the NFL. We were a running football team, and we beat people with running game and balance. Screen, short passing game, draws. But, we beat Texas when I was there 3 out of 5 years because I redshirted. So we were very competitive when I was at Texas Tech. But now they're doing it a different way. They did it a different way under Mike Leach. He spreads you out, and he tried to pick you apart, and he was a mastermind at that, and it worked. And it almost got him a national championship. I mean, at one time, he was number 2 in the nation.
That's right.
But
that win over UT, that
just goes to show there's more than one way to skin a cat.
That's right, absolutely. Wow. And I remember there's a running back by the name of Timmy Smith, as we all know, that one game.
Oh, man.
One game, like Doug Williams quarterback. I mean, that's one of my favorite games because we know the historical significance of that. With Doug Williams.
Absolutely.
But where is that, brother? Timmy Smith?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. But, Timmy was a great back at Tech. He was there before I got there.
Right.
But when he was healthy, people said, who is that? But he was just hurt all the time. And so when he came out on the scene in that Super Bowl with the Redskins, I wasn't surprised because he's a good back. He could run. But where is he at today? I don't know.
It's deep. Oh boy. But yeah, great tradition of backs. Like like we were saying with Timmy Smith, yourself, Bam Morris, and
Byron Hanspar.
Byron Hanspar, yeah.
Ricky Williams.
Yeah, right.
We say the real Ricky
Williams.
Williams.
That's right. He was at the 2,000 yards himself, right? That's right.
You had some good backs, man. Anthony McDowell.
That's right. Yeah. And Sammy Morris, who still plays in the league.
Sammy Morris, James Gray, Cliff Winston.
Ooh, wow. T-Tech, definitely.
Yeah, Irvin.
Absolutely, wow, and talk about how did you get into coaching? What's the story like? How did you start that profession? When you started?
I've always wanted to coach. To be honest with you, I didn't know that I'd coach on this level. I didn't know if I liked coaching on this level, because the reason I wanted to coach was I had good high school and college coaches. That I grew up in a single parent home, and those coaches at times were like my father.
Wow.
So they had a huge impact on my life. I wanted to return the favor to some young man. I just happened to start out on the National Football League level, but I wouldn't rule out one day moving down to do something that I really want to do, and that's work with impressionable young men. Okay, but Mike Shanahan gave me an opportunity to coach when I retired. Because I took care of my business on the field and off the field when I played for him. He gave me the opportunity 2 weeks after I retired, so I was very grateful for that.
Wow, and he seems like a loyal person, definitely.
Very much so.
Yeah.
One of the best head coaches I've ever been around.
Wow, absolutely. Yeah, and brought stability, because I remember Denver was a little unstable in the early, beforehand,
No question.
Yeah, absolutely.
You mentioned Terrell Davis, no Super Bowls. Well, you also couldn't have done it without Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, definitely.